Now with cold calling, I've done it. I've made six figures doing it, but it's not my favorite by far. You might be like me where you were kind of raised to like not rock the boat. If you're calling people, you're going to have people that are upset when they pick up the phone. How'd you get my info? Who are you? I'm going to sue you. I'm on the do not call list, all that kind of stuff, right? So just be aware of that if you choose to utilize this option, but let me walk you through kind of how to do it. So with cold calling, similar to direct mail, we've got our list that we've pulled from the tutorials we watched on PropStream. And we are taking that list and we need to now get phone numbers for these people. Now, this is a process known as skip tracing. Skip tracing is you're taking somebody's, first name, last name, address, and you're finding phone numbers for that person. Now, when you're skip tracing, you will also get back emails. Realize the emails are very, very rarely actually accurate. And same thing with the phone numbers. You're likely going to get anywhere from 3, 5, 7 phone numbers, and only 1 or 2 of those is likely going to be the person. For instance, if you were to skip trace me, you're going to find my phone number, but you'll probably find like my wife's and my little brother who's on my cell phone plan, and any phone number that's ever been tied to me. Old business phone numbers, even like my parents potentially, right? So just because you buy data, you skip trace it, and they tell you this person is this phone number, realize it might not be. It might be an old phone number. The girl who had my cell phone number before me, her name is Shawnarisa. I've had my phone number for like a decade plus. I get calls constantly. Hi, Shawnarisa. And I'm like, yo, she's not here. So just realize you're going to run into bad phone numbers that don't work, phone numbers that don't have voicemail set up, and all of that. Where you actually go to skip trace. Now, there's regulated and non-regulated data. Non-regulated data basically just means like they can sell it to anybody for any purpose. It's going to be the lowest quality. So like PropStream, for instance, has skip tracing. They also have direct mail built in. Don't use it. It's not good. We use PropStream as a data provider. Like, show me people with addresses that have stuff going on, but as an actual marketing platform, far, far from ideal. So common like skip tracing providers, you'll hear like batch skip tracing is one that comes up often. REI Rail is another one that comes up often. There's tons and tons of people that will give you phone numbers. Need to Skip is one. Spokio is one, right? There's all these providers. My favorite is Skip Genie. They are the most accurate by far. The big thing I do with skip tracing, when I send mail, you're going to have like 3 to 5% of it that comes back to you as return to sender, meaning the post office said, hey, we can't find this guy. We skip trace those and call them. And hey, I shot you a letter. It bounced back. Just wanted to talk to you about your house. That's really the only cold calling that we're doing. But for that, we use Skip Genie. They have the best data. It's the most accurate. They're not going to be the cheapest. You'll find some dude on Fiverr that's like, for 3 cents, I can get you phone numbers. It's awful. If you're going to go through cold calling or texting, you do want to invest some money on your data to make sure that you're not wasting your time. If you get 3,000 phone numbers and 2,500 of them are bad, you're going to feel like, hey, this doesn't work. Versus if you get 3,000 phone numbers and 50, 60, 70% of them are accurate, you're going to be like, man, this is good. I'm getting who I think I should be getting on the phone. So don't cheap out. It's kind of like what I mentioned with direct mail. Yes, there are cheaper options, but cheaper is not better. A lot of people tend to think of this almost like cars, right? Well, Mercedes-Benz and a Toyota are going to get me to the same place. That's not really how this works. A better comparison would be like, a Toyota and my first car, which was a 1994 Honda Accord that constantly left me stranded, right? So you want to make sure that you spend enough money to get good data, good quality phone numbers to get in front of the right people. Now you can always smile and dial, like literally, pick up your iPhone, punch in a number, call, all right, on to the next, but that's not the most scalable. Most people end up using like a dialing software where you can upload your list of the addresses and the people's phone numbers, and it will go through and call them for you. Mojo Cells is probably like one of the most common ones. How theirs works, the software actually calls your phone, you press a button, and then it starts making phone calls like through your phone. Another popular one that a lot of people use is something called Zen Call. If you start to go down this road, you're going to get presented with a couple options, and that's either a single line dialer, which is like one-to-one. That's if I pick up my phone and call you. If you answer, I'm sitting there waiting. A lot of people end up using a triple line or what they call like a power dialer. I'm personally not a big fan of that approach because it's going to call 3 people at once. Whoever picks up first, it's going to then try to connect you with. If you've ever gotten a phone call where you answer and there's dead air for 3, 4, 5 seconds before somebody calls on, they're using like a power or a multi-line dialer. They're also more expensive. So my thought process, if you're going to cold call, go one-to-one, even if you're using a dialer. You're not going to have to punch in the phone numbers and all that if you're using one. But if they answer the phone, you want to be there. It's way, way less sketchy than like they answer the phone, there's dead air, they're hello, 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 before you're like, oh, hey, sorry for the out of the blue call, but I'm curious if you'd be interested in selling your property, right? So we'll link to those tools down below. I'm also going to include a cold calling script that a friend of mine sent me. This is what we used to use when we were cold calling more. We haven't cold called in a long time, but I do want to give you that resource just in case it's the path you choose to take.